With America's 250th anniversary just weeks away, President Trump's efforts to get celebrities to attend his big celebration are collapsing. In just the last hour, President Trump floated the idea of canceling the event altogether and instead turning it into a political rally. Trump writing online, quote, "We should have a giant Make America Great Again rally for 250 instead of having overpriced singers who nobody wants to hear, whose music is boring, and yet who do nothing but complain." This follows a slew of performers who backed out, claiming they were misled about the political associations surrounding the concert. Eddie Gall Jr. is back with us. So, Eddie, yes. Donald Trump had a vision that he wanted this 250th celebration that coincided with his birthday to be, and it's falling apart. What do you make of that?
Well, I think, there's obviously a kind of cultural backlash, that he's lost popular culture in a way. We could all just kind of revel in Jimmy Kimmel making fun of him. That's a good thing. But there's a sense in which he's trying to tell a particular kind of story of the country. Whether it's the $1776 billion slush fund, whether it's the $250 bill, whether it's his image on the passport to commemorate the 250th, there's an attempt to yoke the celebration of the country to him, to make this indistinguishable. And that's really all about, in my view, imagining the country in a specific sort of way, where certain people play minor bit parts and other folk, his folk, are centered in the story of the country.
It's also pretty self-protective. If you don't want to come to my birthday party,
I won't have
skipping out on. But not even that. You're not going to America's birthday party.
I think it's a little on the nose to have something called, what is it, Freedom 250 collapse.
You got the freedom to leave.
No, hold on. Show that graphic again. Flow Ride is still going.
Okay.
Let's be very clear. Vanilla Ice and Flow Ride are absolutely
still
going.
It's a metaphor for something, and that something is something I don't really want to carry to its logical conclusion.
There it is.
This could be a nice, lovely, bipartisan event where American icons, it just doesn't have to be this way. Why can't we have nice things?
Every milestone anniversary, I argued this in the book, every milestone anniversary for the country, whether it's the centennial, whether it's the sesquicentennial, the 150th, or the bicentennial, the country has to tell a story about its founding, a story about itself, but it's happening in the moment of extraordinary contradiction. The vexations of the nation are in full view. 1876, Reconstruction's collapsing. Violent coups across the South, Colfax in Louisiana, Vicksburg, Hamburg, South Carolina. People are dying as Democrats, former Confederates, are taking over government. In 1926, this is the decade of the Klan. That year, the Klan, deep roast, hooded, sheets, marching down Washington, D.C., claiming the Immigration Act of 1924 as one of its crowning achievements, an Immigration Act that today people are trying to go back to. 1976, I wore red, white, and blue pants. I was 8 years old.
You have to do it this year, too.
No. But think about it. We're longing for consensus in 1976. Watergate, Vietnam, Black Power. In these moments, the contradiction of the country, that it wants to be a beacon, imagine itself as a beacon of freedom and as a white republic, is in full view. Today, Trump and his minions are trying to imagine the country in a particular sort of way, and it's not working.
Well, so how do you think historians of the future, the equivalent of you, not that you have any equivalent out there.
Not that you will live forever, obviously.
You will live forever, whatever, the next generation, generation, how will they recall this moment? How would the sequel to this book get written about this moment 25 years from now?
It all depends on what we do. I said on this show before that we're in a second lost cause. And when we think about the collapse of Reconstruction, there are two facets. Of course, there's redemption. That's the violence, the disenfranchisement of black folk. But then there's the epistemic violence, the violence on what we know, how we see, the knowledge, the story we tell. And so Du Bois writes Black Reconstruction in 1935 in order to challenge a particular story. Well, what Trump and America 250 or Freedom 250, what they're going to try to do is to tell a story of the country that emphasizes a particular understanding of America as white. Immigration is part of the immigration policy is a part of that. The disenfranchisement of black folk, a part of that. All of this. So what they're going to look back is what choice did we make in the face of this attempt to seize the story of America?
It occurs to me that we are being taped. And so if anybody is digging up this footage in the future, I just want them to know it is exactly as stupid as it looks. I mean,
Pablo Torre is on the record.
Yeah, for my grandkids, this is the camera. It was exactly this dumb.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's sort of almost bizarrely refreshing, Eddie, about seeing all the people pulling out of this thing, it's this reminder that in D.C. and Congress, we've done a whole show about the fear that Republicans still have towards this president. You have people out who are seemingly unencumbered by the political pressure, just saying, yeah, this is also something that we don't want to be a part of at all.
Yeah. But at the same time, we have Delaney Hall. At the same time, we have redistricting across the South. At the same time, we have all the trains are running that's undermining our democracy. And let's be clear, it's dumb, but it's us.
Yes.
What's so fascinating and shocking, I try to show this in the book, are the repetitions. If you look in 1926, Hiram Wesley Evans, the grand wizard of the KKK, writes a piece in the North American Review, and what he's arguing sounds exactly like MAGA. 1926. So even though we see these cracks and fragments in MAGA now, right, we need to understand the repetition is clear. We already, just really quickly, Texas, Cornyn got his behind handed to him. Cassidy came in third. Indiana, we saw it. So even though we see the fracture of the coalition, we still have something really, really troublesome at the heart of the country that's driving the madness that consumes us.
Right. It's that line about history repeating and also rhyming.
Oh, that's Twain.
In this case, Eddie Glaude, the music is horrific on a bunch of different levels, I suppose. Thank you for everything, Professor.